Have you ever wondered about the extent of police power when executing a search warrant at your home or property? It can be a concerning thought, especially when considering the potential for damage. The straightforward answer is yes. Police are generally allowed to damage property during a lawful search if that damage is reasonably necessary to execute the search warrant or to prevent the destruction of evidence. This permission stems from the Fourth Amendment to the United States Constitution, which protects against unreasonable searches and seizures. When police have a valid search warrant, they are authorized to search places where the items described in the warrant might be found. Sometimes, this requires using a reasonable amount of force to gain entry, for example, by breaking down a door, or to access hidden compartments, such as prying open a locked cabinet or even removing a section of drywall if there is probable cause that evidence is concealed there. The key phrase here is reasonably necessary. Officers are not allowed to cause wanton or malicious destruction. Their actions must be directly related to the legitimate scope of the search. Furthermore, while the knock and announce rule usually requires officers to announce their presence and purpose before entering, there are exceptions. If officers have a reasonable suspicion that knocking and announcing would be dangerous, futile, or would allow for the destruction of evidence, they may be permitted to make a no-knock entry, which often results in property damage. This judicial balance ensures effective law enforcement while still protecting individual rights. If you find yourself in a situation where police have damaged property during a search, it is important to document everything thoroughly. Take photographs, make detailed notes, and retain any copies of the search warrant and inventory of seized items. Understand that while some damage might be permissible, excessive or malicious damage is not. If you believe the damage went beyond what was reasonably necessary, consulting with a legal professional can help you understand your rights and potential recourse. An important legal principle to remember is the concept of qualified immunity for officers, which protects them from liability in civil lawsuits unless their conduct violates clearly established statutory or constitutional rights, and there is no objective reasonable basis for their actions. This means that merely causing damage during a search does not automatically create a claim for compensation. Instead, the damage must rise to the level of unreasonableness or maliciousness to potentially overcome this immunity. This distinction highlights the critical difference between incidental damage and a constitutional violation. So, while the law permits police to cause damage to property during a properly authorized and executed search under specific conditions, it is not a blank check for destruction. The actions taken must always be reasonable, proportionate, and within the scope of the warrant, balancing the needs of law enforcement with the constitutional protections afforded to every individual. Understanding these boundaries empowers you to better comprehend your rights and responsibilities during such an event.